Hi, this is S.McDonough, and this is my coaching debrief video after watching the 15-minute observation video for Mr. Willoughby. So first, I will start with celebrations for Mr. Willoughby's room. This is very clearly a rigorous lesson and a strong sixth grade reading room. I think the greatest strengths that are shown in this lesson are core action 2, A, B, D, and E. Because he consistently asks questions that are aligned with the text. They give the readers a lens through which to analyze the text, and consistently asks for evidence from the text, both in the stems that he provides and in their oral responses. He ensures that they provide that text evidence to support their answers. I think he also sequences those questions well. So he goes from activating the prior knowledge once they're coming back from lunch, giving them that little jump back into the text, but then also helps them dig into the individual sections, closely read each paragraph to ensure they get those details before zooming back out so that they can stamp what is the big idea of this text and how do we know this? And then they can go back right into that close reading. They have those details that they already read. So that was incredibly strong. The other strength I want to mention is for core action 3, does the instruction and lesson provide support for all students to engage? The students were doing the work here, right? While he was helping to guide and asking those questions, the students were the ones answering and talking with each other to build their understanding. So the teacher was not doing the work here, but the students truly were owning it. And again, I really just want to emphasize that the students were using text evidence in such an exemplary way. So that is, I think, absolutely a strength that we can use, both the fact that he was cold calling and randomizing and rotating, and that they had such strong responses. I think that leads us to where we can push Mr. Willoughby's room from great to even greater. So I think the next step that would make sense for coaching for Mr. Willoughby would be to push him to frame for the students that when we're discussing text in class and he calls on students, that the rest of the students in the room should be listening closely to the student responses so that they can either add to or refute their classmates' response, again, using text evidence. This will make sure that once a student is called and that student responds to the question, that our engagement is maintained throughout their response and the other students don't use that as a reason to maybe disengage for a short period of time. So I think that would be a very easy next step for them to practice. The other thing that I was thinking about is that they had a strong last question of what was one thing that the students found interesting and why did they find that interesting. I think a quick push there to make this lesson more culturally responsive and the room more culturally responsive as a whole would be to either from that question add in this next question or replace the what I found interesting question with how does this text or how do these ideas connect to ideas that we see in modern day? So provide an example of a modern day community that has stood up for part of the community that has been stifled. Or what is an example from another text that I've read? So that will increase both the text to world and text to text connections for these students. That will be impactful as well because we know that when students can make connections, synaptical connections in their brains from new information to information they already know, that new information is so much stickier for them. So I think that would be a great way to increase the scores for core action 1, C, and D. Thank you so much.